What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman III of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to, you guessed it, the Rob Westerman Show. We are on day 2 of training camp. A lot of news came out yesterday for day 1, some good, some bad. We'll get into everything here in just a minute, and yeah, it should be a good one. I'll be doing this every single day of the season, hanging out, chopping it up. So let's hop in the chat here, see what everybody's up to. Once again, I really appreciate you hopping on, tuning in. Rick says, Big Packer guy too. Hey, aren't we all? If you're here chatting Packers with me on a Tuesday morning, July 23rd, you're a big Packer person. So we'll just leave it at that. Raj, anything new with Love? Nope, not that I've heard. Everything's pretty much status quo as of yesterday. He's not practicing until that deal gets done. So, which I don't blame him. Saw a lot of stuff yesterday. Some people frustrated. Some people saying it's actually a good thing that he's not practicing, and that's fine. You feel how you want to feel. I personally think this could have been avoided for sure. I know it's a huge contract, a huge business situation going on, but he was eligible for a contract extension way back in May. So not sure what they've been doing for the last 2.5 months. Maybe sitting on their hands a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. So Kyle's hopping in here over on Facebook. Thanks, Kyle, for tuning in. I appreciate you. It's done. Well, I'm not sure if you're speaking literally or figuratively. I have not seen anything about it actually being done, but it is pretty much done. It'll be announced within the next 24 hours, Kyle says. And hey, I don't disagree there. I think hopefully by Friday. Hopefully by Friday it's done. And if not, then we're going to have some stuff to worry about. So trust me on this. Who's your source, my man? It does stink it's not done. We'd love to see him out there, but like I said, as long as it's done this week and not too much practice time is missed, then I'm not concerned, at least at this point. So we shall see. I don't know. Zach, I'm doing good, man. You heading up to training camp this year? I am. Yeah, I'll be up there all next week hanging out. So I'm pretty excited. Watching the guys practice, riding the bikes down, hanging out, hit up 1919, all the usual spots, Stadium View, Kroll's West across the street. One of my favorite spots that I don't see mentioned a whole lot up in Green Bay is Fox Harbor. It's across the river. It's a bar and grill type spot. They have got some good food. So if you're ever in the area, be sure to check it out. So as Teddy says, here comes John flying in the chat here. As Teddy says, pay that man his money. I completely agree. I threw out a post yesterday just kind of getting everybody's feelers on, should they make Jordan Love the highest paid quarterback in NFL history? And kind of where I'm at is whatever it takes to get him signed. I mean, he will probably be the next highest quarterback paid until Dak or someone else signs one shortly after him or sometime this season or next. It won't last long, but whatever it takes, get him signed because I don't want to lose him. As you all know, he's the guy, and Brian Gutekunst echoed just as much yesterday during his press conference that he's the guy. So he's the future. He's their franchise quarterback. He played like one in the second half of last season. And that's another thing, too, is a lot of folks are saying, he only had one good, 8 good games, all that type of stuff. But it's more than that. The first few weeks, he was, I think, threw 9 touchdowns to 1 pick. Then we kind of had a losing skid after that Falcons game, which I remind you, we had the lead in the fourth quarter. Same goes for the Giants game. Same goes for the Broncos game. Same goes for the Steelers game. And the defense, in unfortunate Packer style, let guys like Tommy DeVito roll right down the field and either score the go-ahead touchdown or the go-ahead field goal. So you get a couple of those wins, and all of a sudden, that whole narrative of he only played half a season, well, and now we're paying him. That whole narrative kind of goes away, which is nice. John over on Instagram. Thanks for hopping in, my man. During LaFleur's presser yesterday, he stopped himself from saying the deal will be done in the next couple of days. I watched the presser, and I can't recall. I was doing a bunch of different things at the same time, so I can't recall exactly what moment you're talking about. But one thing I did notice with Matt was he didn't seem too thrilled about the whole situation, not having his quarterback out there, whether he wasn't thrilled with the front office, whether he wasn't thrilled with Jordan Love's team or camp, deciding not to practice. He didn't look too happy answering all those questions regarding Jordan, which I get. You want to start off camp with everybody there, as many guys as you can possibly have outside of injuries. And yeah, the most important guy arguably wasn't there. So he was there, just not participating. Excuse me. Appreciate that, John. The Pack, I'm not worried at all. They will get it done this week. I hope you're right, man, because like I said earlier, if it's not done this week and he's missed a whole week of practices, whether that's, his side holding to try and get a little more money, a little more guaranteed, or if that's the Packers side kind of trying to cheap out, that's not going to be good here come the end of the week. But right now, I am not worried. I'm just chilling. Speak it into existence here, though. Let's get the deal done by this week, okay? I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. So, Ty, go Pack, go. Go Pack, go, man. Thanks for hopping on. Anybody else heading up to training camp this year? Let me know. I'll be up there next week. I cannot wait. I am pumped. Devin, I can respect J Love for being there despite the contract. At least he's there in meetings and around, not in the Bahamas somewhere. I completely agree. I think he's got a lot of support around him and in that locker room. I know Keyshawn Nixon, the All-Pro, tweeted the other day after Kenny's extension that now let's do number 10. Jordan Love's next. Let's get it figured out and get it done. Other guys like Josh Jacobs was talking yesterday in his locker. Elton Jenkins was supporting him after practice as well. And Christian Watson too. Christian Watson throwing some love out there for his quarterback one. So everybody is behind Love, and they know what he's going to get. And whatever he does get, it's going to be deserved. So, all right. Who else we got? Jimmy, thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate you tuning in. Like I said earlier, I'll be on every day, hanging out, chopping it up with you guys. I'm just hanging out. I'm not an expert. I don't have any inside sources. As you can see, I'm just a fan, chilling. So my wife gets a little not irritated, but I'm sure the constant Packers talk probably has her happy right now that I got a little outlet to chat it up with you guys. So the Pack, Lori, and I'm actually standing at Lambeau right now. Well, hey, if you're going to be there next week, I'll be right alongside you. What's the vibe like? I know practice starts about 10:30. Guys should be rolling out here, riding the bikes around, 10:05, 10:10, anywhere from then on. Let me know what the scene's like. We got some boots on the ground. The Pack-a-Lorian boots on the ground coverage from training camp. It doesn't get any more legit than that, I tell you what. I'll be the boots on the ground next week. I'm excited. I got a 3-year-old. I'm trying to decide whether I bring up a bike and let her ride or wait another year. Have not tried the bike thing with my kiddo yet, so thought that'd be kind of fun. So very small crowd so far. Yeah, I heard yesterday was pretty wild. Mark Murphy was talking about the crowd yesterday during the shareholders meeting, and he said it was one of the best crowds he's seen in his time while in Green Bay, which is great to see and great to hear. I mean, I saw a lot of videos, a lot of content being pushed out yesterday about, man, Everybody's fired up. There's a special buzz around this squad, rightfully so. They are, again, the NFL's youngest team. And, hey, they also could be another young team making the playoffs, making a run. They're set up for it. Let's get this J Love situation figured out and hit the ground running. Tucker Kraft just wrote down. Tucker's the dude. Tucker, by the way, no update on Tucker Kraft. He tore his pec earlier this offseason. And according to Brian Gutekunst, he is ahead of the curve as far as rehab goes, which is good to hear. James, I'm with you. I cannot wait for the season. I can't either. I'm loving the training camp coverage. I'm loving the content. This season's going to be a fun one. Any predictions out there? Throw them out there. I want to chat some predictions and give my unbiased opinion on what's going to go down here this year. I think it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be interesting though. Last year there was pretty much zero expectations, and they clearly exceeded those. Probably not through the first half, or through the first half. Excuse me. That second half though, making the playoffs, winning a playoff game down in Dallas, in Jerry World. Man, that was fun. A couple plays away out there in Santa Clara from being in the NFC title game, which we would have seen against the Detroit Lions, which we smoked back on Thanksgiving in their own house. So that a couple plays away from an NFC title game, and who knows? Who knows what would have happened after that? So John Tracy over on Instagram. Thanks, my man. Oh, man. Did you see USA Today's prediction? I did. I believe, if I can recall correctly, they had the Packers going 13-4. And I think they also had the Jets going 12-5. And those two squads, the Packers and Jets, meeting in the Super Bowl. And USA Today predicted the Jets to beat the Packers in the Super Bowl. Now that'd be something, huh? That'd be something. Just a Jets-Packers Super Bowl would be something. I'm a Raj guy myself. I've always enjoyed watching Aaron. I've kind of avoided getting too crazy involved in the off the field stuff, just because I like Aaron for what I know of him, and that's being a football player. So I try not to go beyond any of that, so you won't be getting any slander and or politics side stuff from me. So I'm sure everybody can probably appreciate that. Rick over on Instagram, thanks for tuning in, my man. Good prediction for me is 13-4. That's where my head's at. I'm at the 13-4, 12-5 range. There's some tough games on the slate here for us this year. Niners, they're the cream of the crop as far as the NFL, the NFC. They're a top 2 team right up there with Kansas City. I think the pyramid kind of goes as far as the power ranking, with the Chiefs and the Niners leading it off up top there, and after them it's kind of a whole new tier. And I think the Packers are probably in that second tier, along with teams like Detroit, maybe Baltimore, maybe the Bengals, maybe the Cowboys. I don't know. We'll see. But outside of those guys, I don't outside of the Niners and Chiefs, I don't see anybody else being, at least right now, up there. So the Ravens, hey, like I said, I think they're up at the top. I just think they're a tier below the Niners and the Chiefs. So until they can beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, which I was rooting for harder than anything last year, I got to keep them a tier below, which I think everybody can somewhat agree with. So Sean, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate you tuning in. We just, like I said earlier, we're chatting Packers every day of this year, hanging out. I'm not an expert. I don't have any inside sources. I think I like to think I know a decent amount. I'm not a huge film guy. However, I won't miss a Packers play, a Packers highlight. So if you're throwing out a play or some sort of situation, chances are I'll know what you're talking about. I just probably won't be able to break it down as well as the actual film gurus out there, which is fine. I got to stay in my lane. Not try to be someone I'm not, just hang out. So let's see here. Who else we got? I think we have some tough games. I think opening week will be interesting. I do as well. That Eagles squad, wow. They sure ended the year last year just downright bad. I know a lot of folks aren't too happy about playing over down in Brazil, but I don't mind it, especially since it's a home game for Philadelphia. Um, Kind of takes away that Philly crowd, which everyone knows is crazy. A lot of videos of those fans doing some crazy stuff. And I'm glad that it's a home game for them and not for us. And we've had to lose out on the home game, I think, last 2 years now. Maybe it was just the 1 year we were over in London. And just the last year we've lost out. So should be a strong Packers crowd. I know Brazil represents heavily for Packer fans. So we just gotta show up. Show up week 1 down in Brazil. That's gonna be a movie, as the kids say. What else we got going on? Santiago, thanks for hopping in. I appreciate you. Oh, wow, that's a username. My ex. I'm not going to finish. What's your opinion on Anders Carlson? I think the popular answer is, his brother was bad right away, and now he's one of the best kickers in the NFL, and that's fine. And if you want to make that parallel, that's cool. But I mean, they're two different dudes, so I don't really think that really applies with too much gravity, at least in my opinion. But I don't know if he can fix the extra points. I mean, I could take a few missed field goals here and there, preferably not in the divisional round against the Niners. 41-yarder to go up. I believe it would have been by 7. I think we were up 21-17, and we missed the 46-yarder, if I remember correctly. Just that whole unit. I know Anders hasn't been carrying his weight as he should, but the whole unit just needs to be cleaned up. There's still some blocked. We don't talk about that. There were still some block kicks, some missed assignments in that field goal unit. They need to get as many snaps together as possible, and they will this training camp, a snapper, holder, and kicker. I think Anders will be the one that wins that job. And I know Andy Herman had a bold prediction or just a prediction earlier this week saying, I think Anders Carlson's going to win the job, but not convincingly. I don't think there's anything he can really do to convince us Packer fans that he's for sure won and deserved the kicker spot until he starts making kicks in the regular season, in the playoffs, till he starts making extra points with consistency. There's nothing worse than having a great drive, a great offensive output, scoring a touchdown, and then you miss the extra point. So I'm an Anders supporter. I'm hoping and thinking he's going to win this job. And Greg Joseph and Jake Turner, I might be messing up his name. He's the third stringer kicker out of Michigan. I think he's going to beat those guys out. Him and Greg Joseph pretty much had similar stats last year. So keep Anders, keep that little crew together, and let's get him as many snaps as possible to get that operation as smooth as it can be. Thanks for the question, man. As many folks don't like talking about Anders, which is fine, but I like the guy. I hope he does good. I'm wishing him well, as I'm sure all of you guys are as well. Charles, thanks for hopping in, man. Good to see you. Do you see Dillon or Lloyd getting more snaps as running back 2 this year? That is a great question. Well, so far, AJ's been out there, while Marshawn has not. He's got a hip injury. He had an issue with the hip, I believe it was, back in OTAs, back in minicamp. So don't confirm. I can't confirm nor deny that, but he was injured in minicamp and OTAs a couple months back. And yeah, there wasn't too much buzz on his hip injury leading up to training camp up until yesterday when reporters on the ground reported that he was not practicing. And yeah, it was due to a hip. You never like to see rookies missing time. Although I think he's going to be special. I don't think he's going to be too hurt from, missing these snaps, these reps, especially these first few practices. I know everybody else harps on it. They're pretty much like OTAs. They're not doing, a whole lot. There's no pads. They don't throw on the pads till later this week. But back to your question, I'm kind of rambling. Sorry, Charles. Dillon or Lloyd getting more snaps? I'm going to go Marshawn Lloyd. I think A.J. Dillon might get more snaps early on, and I still think he can be a good backup running back. I think their snaps are probably going to even out over the course of the season. We're not going to be a run-heavy offense with Josh Jacobs, taking 90-80% of the snaps at running back. I think it's going to be a, 60-20-20 type deal, or 50-25-25. Obviously 50 going to Josh, and then Marshawn and AJ splitting up those carries. And who knows, if one of them's hot, ride the hot hand. But I do think Marshawn Lloyd's going to make some noise this year. I'm pretty excited about him. Right when we drafted him, I grabbed his jersey pretty quick. Number 32, I was wondering if he was going to switch his number to 0 like he wore back in his college days at USC. But he is 32, and 32 is going to stay, which is just fine with me. Let's see here. Connor, thanks for hopping in, man. Long time no see. Bisaccia is miles better than Mo Drayton as special teams coordinator. Do you think it falls on LaFleur? I assume you're referencing the inept play of the special teams. And I'm not sure if it falls on LaFleur. I think it more so falls on the players. The mistakes that are going on out there are missed blocks, low snaps, bad holds. It's, mainly missed blocks up on the protection. It's got to fall on somebody, and I think it is the players. I mean, both the players. There's blame to go all around. Bisaccia, he's the assistant head coach now, or the assistant coach, or whatever his exact title is. So he's not only the special teams coordinator. He's got another title too, and that kind of shows the pecking order. We're paying him a lot of money. I think at least as of last year, he was the highest paid special teams coach in the league. And I don't think it's, unfair to expect a better unit all around, especially the field goal unit protection out of these guys and out of his guys. So I'm not sure exactly where the blame falls. I know, at least from what I watched, like I said earlier, I'm not a film guru. I can't break down plays. That's not my lane. So I'm not going to pretend like I know how to, but just from the naked eye, watching the games, watching highlights all the time, being locked in and somewhat knowing exactly what people should be doing, it seems like guys are just missing their assignments. So I know they've been keen on, those back end roster guys, if they're good at special teams, or Keyshawn Nixon's a good example, brought him in off the practice squad over from the Raiders, mainly because of his special teams prowess, and it paid off. Obviously, being all pro returner 2 years straight, not many guys can say that. So a lot of those back end roster guys, if you're good at special teams, you've got a big leg up on those who aren't. So, Connor, that's a good question. I think the blame goes all around. That's kind of where I'm at. I know I'm kind of copping out, but that's what I'm thinking. So, Jank, what's happening, my man? Does Jordan's holdout extend into next week? Well, it's not a holdout. I know I'm not trying to be particular here. It's a hold in. So if his hold in, does his hold in extend into next week? I hope not. We've been dealing with quarterback drama up in Green Bay for quite a while. Whether you immerse yourself into it, I didn't a whole lot. But we've been dealing with that kind of stuff for quite a while. So I would like to avoid any more drama as much as we can. But does it extend into next week? I don't think so. I think everybody around, Jordan, the front office, Jordan's camp, the coaches, everybody wants the players. They want him to sign. They want to get this situation taken care of. Let's get that pen to paper. and let's just get it done. Let's get it done today. I would love nothing more than to just get it done today, tomorrow, as soon as possible. The more practice, the more reps. I understand yesterday and today and tomorrow too. They're pretty vague. They're pretty generic as far as how many reps and throws he was getting in. I know Andy Herman talked about he missed maybe 20, 25 throws yesterday by not being out there, which is fine. That's not a lot of throws, but if you miss 25, 30 more today and then 30, 35 more tomorrow, well, then you're talking about 100 reps with young guys. We got the youngest team in the NFL. We need all the reps we can get. So I'm fine with missing a few days of practice. If it extends, past later this week or this weekend, then yeah, there's going to be a whole new buzz, whole lot more buzz around what's going on, who's not budging. Is Jordan not budging? Is the front office not budging? I also think he's done the Packers plenty of favors. He sat behind Raj for 3 years, no complaints, no whining, no outbursts, no nothing. He just sat there, learned, hung out, waited for his time, and boom. Came out last year in the scene, took down the Bears in Chicago week 1. I personally wasn't surprised by that just because Chicago's it's a sad little situation they got going on over there. They got some upside though coming up with Caleb and in Rome. So they're as much as you don't want to hear it, they're going to be a squad to kind of look out for. I know we haven't been used to that, but yeah, let's he earned it. Get Love signed, and the rest will be good to roll. We'll be ready to go in the training camp running. So, do you know when the pads come on? Later this week, and that's kind of when the actual action starts. No pads. They're just kind of running around in shorts and a t-shirt, not doing a whole lot, getting all the rookies acclimated, all the new guys acclimated to how things work, which was cool to see Josh Jacobs riding bikes yesterday. Usually the veterans don't ride bikes a whole lot. But his first day as a Packer, his first day of training camp as a Packer, he was at OTAs and mini camp and whatnot. But he partook in the bike riding, which was cool to see. Always fun when veterans pop out and take a kiddo down to practice. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. July 23rd, day 2 of Packers training camp coming up in about 15 minutes or so. And I'll be posting all the updates you need on the social channels, every platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. Find me over there and follow along. You can follow me at GBP Daily. If you are not already, it would mean a ton if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is also GBP Daily. It'd mean a ton. Trying to build up that platform and do more content over there, so I'd appreciate it. I'll be back and at it tomorrow, so I look forward to seeing you all then. And until then, I will catch you guys later. Thank you.